welcome back to Different Style Whites.
Yes.
Wonderful, beautiful, amazing podcast about God's preferred format, the different style fight.
Some people have been saying it is the best podcast about different style fighting.
I've heard that.
Yes.
I've heard that. And boy, we're not going to let you down this week. We got a doozy
Yeah.
that John teased last week. And many of you freaks were nodding your heads and already anticipating.
Rubbing your
What was
hands
to come.
together.
Yes. Where are we going?
We are going to Shin Nihon, returning to New Japan, the starting point of this podcast, which I was really feeling when watching these matches. This is where different style fighting comes from. This is
Yeah,
its
this is the
origin point.
spiritual home of different style whites.
Yes, like listen, love FMW. We are going to talk about FMW again. We still have not covered all the ground there. The peaks of different style fighting for me probably happened there. But different style fighting is a New Japan product. And what we're going to be talking about here is kind of, and I don't even know why I'm saying kind of, it really is. This is their last foray into that world, at least that I'm aware of. Unless you want to talk about the time they brought the Gracies over to do tag matches, like fucking this is really it
Yeah,
for the New
probably
Japan different style world.
if it ever gets brought up, they're pointing to this.
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say too, this is what people look at when you talk about the style versus style thing in New Japan. If they and this isn't even formal different style stuff. This is a nexus point for New Japan where it's going to go in a wildly different direction and kind of veer into a weird place that a lot of us love and a lot of people hate. Um, but this is kind of where that happens. This is a birth point for Enochiism, as what people mostly know it as. This is a birthplace for really a lot of stuff in the industry as a whole. But this is 1997 New Japan, where we are starting off, and we're going to be talking about Naoya Ogawa and Shinya Hashimoto here. Um, I mean, what is there to say about these two fuckers?
The Tokon is flowing through me.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
could shoot it out of my fingertips like lightning bolts. But you're right. Yeah. What do you say about these guys?
uh, I mean, we can talk a little bit about Ogawa. I feel like Hashimoto, there's really no reason to even talk about him. Like, you know who he is, you know what he stands for, especially in 97. This is like the New Japan, if not the top guy, because I think there's an argument that like Muto was more popular at certain points and Chono at points as well. But he is, in a way, kind of Mr. New Japan in spirit.
He is, to be for sure.
Especially
He is the personification of New Japan Pro Wrestling to me.
Yes, especially around this point in time when he's got the sideburns fully sideburning and he's got that look in his eye and he has the greatest theme ever and like
God.
this is Hashimoto as Mr. New Japan. But Naoya Ogawa is kind of an interesting character. Incredibly accomplished judoka. He had the second most victories in the All Japan Judo Championships, where he got 7 wins, won that tournament 7 times. He had 4 wins at the World Judo Championships, and he was a silver medalist in the Olympics. Uh, he joins not New Japan. Well, okay, so he does join New Japan. That's an important thing that we'll talk about later. But he comes in through UFO. So UFO was this promotion started by Antonio Inoki. It was the Universal Fighting Arts Organization. And it was Inoki kind of dipping his toes into MMA. We talked about it during the Inoki episode. Um, he's kind of an originator of the whole MMA thing. And UFO is him taking a formal step in now that the MMA industry is a thing that exists. Um, I don't know how much of UFO was worked and how much was shoot. Some like a lot of it is pretty obviously worked, and there's a lot of it that's pretty obviously shoot, and then there's a good amount of stuff that you really can't tell. Um, but in '97, UFO is just this organization started by Inoki, where he has brought in Satoru Sayama as like a coach and like kind of a co-developer of the idea with him.
The prodigal
And
son returns.
yeah, which is something I was thinking about so much. Like, a fucking, of course, Sayama is like in this. Like, it feels so fitting for him to get wrapped up in this bullshit.
Evil bullshit. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Sayama is there. He didn't even call him. He just showed up.
yeah, he like started doing it, and like Sayama showed up. It's like, I feel like I would fit here. um, but he brings in Ogawa, and they start to train him. Um, Now, I don't know exactly what they're training him in. From my understanding, I've heard people say before they trained him to be a wrestler. I'm going to say that's wrong. I'm just going to say that they trained him for martial arts because I do not believe Ogawa had pro wrestling training until like the early 2000s at best. He may have never even gotten trained on how to take a bump. He might have just figured it out.
He barely needed to.
Yeah, yeah.
He
But
just
this is Naoya Ogawa's debut in the world of professional wrestling. This is his debut, I guess, in the whole world of larger combat sports. He's not yet done MMA, I don't believe. He is just getting out of the judo world, but he has come to New Japan.
yeah, he's very
And
judoed out.
yeah,
Still the gi and everything here.
yeah. Um, and he's here to face Hashimoto. But before we get to the match itself, there is a lot to talk about.
Yes, we
uh,
love it.
the version of the match that we watched, I think we both watched the version that comes from like a commercial, like VHS tape. Um, and it is like full of some of the funniest clips I've ever seen. Some very really fucking cool clips, but just really funny clips.
It's perfect. Is this is just a tape of like the Hashimoto Ogawa feud, right?
Yes, I think it's specifically the first two matches. I think the third match comes
Okay.
from a different tape, but watching the second match, like it had the exact same formatting as the first one. So I have to imagine they're just two parts of a whole. Um, but we get a press conference where they kind of talk and deliberate on this is what's going to happen.
Nice
Yes,
collegial handshake.
yeah, good handshake.
Sporting contests to come.
This is a battle between athletes of different disciplines. It's a respectful affair. Um, and we go into some public training sessions with Ogawa and his two trainers, Inoki and Sayama, and it's just like this is like UFC early days fight camps. Like this is 200 reps of bullshit. Like the training methods they're using on Ogawa are just so not real.
I laughed so hard when the camera pulled back. You see Ogawa like standing there and there's legs dangling over his shoulders and the camera pulls back and Inoki is just sitting arms crossed on his shoulders as he does squats
Yeah. It's
outside
just yeah,
naturally.
outside.
Beautiful.
There's so much outside in this first tape especially.
It looks
Like
like Commando. Have you seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic Commando?
yes.
Where
Yes, I
it begins with
have.
him in the wilderness, just like chopping wood and carrying
Yeah.
logs. Except there's a guy in a mask, a tiger mask there,
Yeah, yeah.
and also Antonio Inoki.
Antonio Inoki permanently unhappy. I think so much about I've thought so much about the message you sent me like 2 days ago where it was the photo of Inoki frowning. And it's like I'm telling Inoki smile like I'm a creepy guy talking to a woman.
Please smile, dude. This is awesome. He's just perma scowl, no
Yeah.
matter what is going on. But that's the beauty of Antonio Inoki. The
Yeah,
most serious man who ever lived.
there's not much to smile about in Inoki's life right now. But he is putting Ogawa through the ringer. There's a cool clip of Ogawa like watching Hashimoto wrestle, and you can like see in his eyes that he's like trying to figure him out and shit.
Yeah, it reminded me
Um,
of the Murahama and
yes,
yeah, stuff we watched a few weeks
which
ago.
I love that every single time I see it. It's such a good like I don't know what you even call it, just like a good beat in this kind of story of like I'm going to do like live tape study for a guy who's doing something that I have no experience in. Um, and Hashimoto kind of does that too because it eventually goes over to him doing like judo sparring sessions against New Japan wrestlers in a ring in the middle of a field, and it is. I mean, I wanted to put a clip of that on Twitter so bad, dude.
Oh,
It is so awesome.
all of this. We can't though. Sorry.
We can't. We can't. Well, dude, Bushi Road will find my family.
The second you tweet it,
Yeah, I'm
AI Inoki at your door.
AI Inoki is here. He's going to ask you if you're ready, and you're doomed.
Do you,
But I'm.
you know how scary it would actually be though if he smiled? If
Oh
you opened the
Jesus!
door and like AI Inoki bot was like smiling at you.
I would actually lose my mind, like straight up, like life ended. But
But yeah,
this,
this is like as always, just like so perfectly put together and perfectly
yes,
shot, and it feels so huge. There's such a simplicity in the presentation of like the best New Japan stuff that it's just perfect.
yeah, no, this is like perfect presentation, perfect. Like every choice they've made is the right choice when it comes to how this looks and how this feels. Like this is there's the phrase that's thrown a lot around a lot, like big fight field. This is like big fight field the company. Every
Yeah,
single
and
match I
I
wrote
think
down big fight feel.
Hashimoto. Yeah, I think Hashimoto is Big Fight Feel the wrestler.
Yeah,
I mean, that's his. That's his like. That's why he's so high on my GWE list. Because I think he's like just one of the best big fight wrestlers ever.
yeah.
Before he even gets in the ring.
Yes, yes. Just everything about his presentation especially is it feels so large. And that feels I'm not saying that because he's fat, okay? That's not what I'm
I can
saying. But
haunt you.
like I'm gonna get haunted.
Karate Belushi coming to
Um,
your house.
that's crazy. Um, I just I love everything about all of this pre-tape stuff. I said it was really funny, and it is, but also it's so good. Like you can't do this anymore. This type of stuff, you can do it, but we are at a point where like I'm watching this and I'm thinking it's funny, but I'm also able to appreciate how cool it is. I think if you did this on a large scale, it would not work because people just will not look at this as something cool. Especially the outside stuff, like doing judo sessions in a ring in the middle of a field. Like, people would like laugh at it and it's like say like, "Ah, it's funny." Like because I
Well,
feel like
somebody should
that's
try it and see.
yeah, yeah, someone should try it. Like we need I don't know who's gonna do judo, but like find put Aaron Wolf in a ring in the middle of a field and have
In a
him just do judo throws to the other young boys.
in a Subaru gi.
Yes, but I mean, I think now we're just getting into the match because it's match time after all that. Hashimoto is backstage staring very intensely off to
As
the
he
side
does,
as
yeah.
incredibly dramatic music plays, very hard drums. Um,
The future
Ogawa.
future Inoki pet project Yasuda ties his headband for him here.
Yes, yes, dude. Yasuda is all over this.
He
Actually,
really is, yeah.
yeah, he's sparring with Ogawa earlier in like before we get to this point. There's just like footage of him taking like a prototype of the SCO and nearly dying. Um,
That was cool too. They told us because this is his debut. They told us he's got the Space Tornado Ogawa. which is just a normal ass judo move, but
Yeah.
he makes
Yeah.
it he makes it look crazy. And he's huge. I'm sure we'll get into it like when we get into the matches, but like I didn't I don't know if I really appreciated until I sat down with these like what a big fucker this guy
Yeah,
was.
dude, he's like 6'5", six
Yeah.
four. Like he's a big fucking guy.
So that would
Um
be quite a ride to take that throw from Ogawa.
oh god, yeah, it would. Uh but speaking of Ogawa, we get to his entrance. And I would love to know what the actual song was. Or if he did have a song at all, because these comp tapes always love to dub the music, and we get that with Hashimoto in a second. But Ogawa comes out and is straight up just wind noises, like just whooshing air.
And with like an occasional big drum.
Yeah,
And it's very ominous, but it's funny, especially like in hindsight, how like sweet and innocent Ogawa looks like coming out. And he is
yeah,
making his pro wrestling debut like in the main event in the Tokyo Dome, right?
yes,
But he he just looks like this humble little martial artist guy as like this very scary music plays.
yeah. He looks like he's coming here to do like. I mean, he looks like he's coming here to have a match. It's not. There's no feeling from this Ogawa entrance that he is coming to do anything else besides have a wrestling match with Shinya Hashimoto. Like that's all you feel with it. But it's a big deal because this is like world class level judoka Naoya Ogawa coming to have a match with Hashimoto. Um,
And
and
the
that
crowd is hot for
is
it.
crowd is super hot. Um, and that is one of the many things where during this match I like stopped to think about what I'm watching and I was like, this is just Ruska Inoki 2 in a way. This is just them doing that kind of thing again. And I really got the feeling with the way Ogawa worked, which we'll get into, but it feels so crazy to watch this and like think about that Ruska match.
Yeah, my
Like,
mind went to that too. Just for I was like, who else has like debuted in a situation like this? And I was like, oh, of course, we covered it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get into Hashimoto's entrance and like I mean, this is like the coolest looking dude ever. Like crazy fucking song, even if it's not his actual like song. Um Crazy looking lights coming down. Just he looks like a bajillion bucks. Like this is the fucking guy. I don't know how else to say it. He is the guy. He is definitely what New Japan like. I mean, you see this guy. I don't know how you don't build your entire fucking thing around him, which is what they were doing.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
oozing charisma. And then Anoki at ringside probably thinking, hey, this is cool. I should totally kill it.
Yeah, dude. I need this guy to get owned.
But not yet.
Not yet. Not well. Well, okay. So
Yeah. Yeah.
kinda, but not like what happens in this match. People are probably looking at it and going, "Wow, that's kind of crazy due to Hashimoto." They had no fucking clue what was going to happen
Yeah.
in 2 years. No idea. This is like kind. This is kindness. What Inoki grants upon Shinya Hashimoto.
Uh,
But
great match though, man. This is like the classical different style fight.
yeah,
And of course, Hashimoto, it's not his first rodeo in that regard, and I don't think it would be controversial to say he's like one of the great different style fighters.
yeah, I'd say so. Like we've only talked about one other Hashimoto different style fight so far, but that was the kick-ass Tony Holm fight, and I have seen some of his other stuff, and like, yeah, he is one of the best at this kind of match. Just, I mean, and there's a lot of reasons why, but I think one of the bigger ones is he is such a monster for like timing. Like
Oh,
he
it's
knows
unbelievable
he
what he
knows the
does.
right time to do everything.
Yeah, and it in this first two matches, it's like so evident, especially when you watch them like back to back. It's
Yes.
like this guy has. never wrestled before, and you really only get that only enters your mind like one or two times watching these first couple of matches because Hashimoto just has everything is perfect in
Yeah.
terms of like structure and timing.
And I mean, this whole match is so fantastic when it comes to like the structure of it. There's like no point where you said it with just now with you only think about this being Ogawa's first match like two times. Like genuinely, everything about this match is done so well. Ogawa is they very clearly said that Ogawa is more capable on the ground and in grappling, and that Hashimoto's thing is he's going to have to rely on the striking. And they do it in great ways because Ogawa is like eating these strikes and he's not registering them that much. Like he's kind of taking the hits and letting them roll off. But he only really gets something going when he gets a takedown. Like and
Yeah,
and Hashimoto takes note of that.
and Hashimoto, like, he doesn't really have to change much of what he's doing at all because the offense is basically the same. It's leg kicks and gut kicks and big overhand brain chops.
Dude, the Kesagiri like overhead chops
Oh,
are ridiculous. Like I I really do buy those as like shit that would hurt. 'Cause, you like grow up and you hear about the chops. It's like, oh, the chops are cool, and then you grow older. It's like, well, chops aren't like real. I guess maybe I don't know. And then like you see this, and it's like, well, shit, man. If I got hit with one of those, I'd probably like break my shoulder. Like it is horrific just how hard he throws some of these.
yeah,
And
and like
Ogawa is fucked by him up.
I know. So it's funny because like to me, Hashimoto, like he was trained in karate, he was trained in judo as a kid. You know,
Yeah.
he's not like some expert, but a lot of what he does to me is one of my favorite things ever in the world, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is fake wrestling karate.
Yes.
Like the big chops, but he's doing like knife hands and he is
Yeah.
like slicing through your face. It's not something that like you see Oyagi doing, but he's still like braining the shit out of you with these
Yeah.
things.
No,
And
it's
yeah,
like
and as you said, Ogawa's trying to get him on the mat. He's trying to go for arm bars. That's like pretty much his thing in this match is he wants to get an arm bar on.
dude, that's his thing for like the first two matches. Like
Yeah.
all he wants is an armbar.
And you see why in the third match.
Oh God, you do. But Ogawa is like, I mean, there's a point where Ogawa straight up runs away for a second because he's getting so overwhelmed by the overhead chops, and Hashimoto's landing some hard kicks to the ribs, and Ogawa has to like get out of there and like reconsider his whole plan.
I think he
Um,
does it after he gets hit a bunch, and then Hashimoto hits like a big judo like trip throw thing. I don't know the names of the judo moves, but
yes, yeah,
yeah. And the crowd goes ape,
yeah,
and he has to
and
roll out and he look to Inoki for the scowl of reassurance.
fucking again, Inoki never smiling, but apparently that frown communicates 1,000 words to Naoya Ogawa. Um, yeah, Ogawa takes a judo throw, and the crowd goes ballistic. Ogawa comes back in, and he does like Ogawa. The thing with Ogawa too is like his takedowns fucking rule. He is a fantastic guy when it comes to flashy takedowns. Um, he hits this like T-bone like slam thing where he just hoofs up Hashimoto that blew my mind because
I
like Hashimoto is massive.
I tried to figure out like a comparable like wrestling move for that, but
Yeah,
he really does just hook his leg, pick him up like a sack of shit, and like slam him down as hard as he can.
yeah,
I don't. It just plants him and goes right for the armbar. It's
yeah,
fucking nuts, dude. It really like he looks. Hashimoto is big, uh, but Ogawa looks huge and
yeah,
so scary when he picks him up and slams him.
yeah. And Ogawa is taking more shots, and it's especially noticeable as the match goes on because early on he's literally just like letting the shots roll off. He's barely registering them. But Ogawa's doing a really good job of like progressively reacting more and more to each hit and like slouching more, stumbling around more in response. Um, that is actually there's a point where he gets a hit and he like kind of stumbles and I note like, oh, I feel like I just saw like Ruska do that like a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah, and we called him a prodigy for it. I think Ogawa, like, yeah, his selling is really, really good. Especially as you said, it's like it's over the course of the match.
yeah,
It's really natural.
yeah. And he is also great when it comes to the struggle, which like with these matches, especially with the different style stuff, having like good struggle with your shit is almost vital. Um, and he's like anytime Hashimoto goes for a big thing, he is like fighting like death to get out of it. Namely the insane backdrop that Hashimoto hits
Oh
where
my
the
god.
entire time Ogawa is like flailing to get out of it.
He almost gets like a big trip himself. Like he's
Yeah.
and the Hashimoto blocks it and just backdrops him to hell.
Yeah. Um, and Hashimoto puts in a deep, deep headlock on Ogawa, really wrenching it in. And Ogawa kind of gets on the ropes for a second. He's still in the headlock, bounces off a tiny bit, transitions from the headlock in like a standing side like position. Immediately, leg sweep, slams him down, space tornado, Ogawa, STO, and Hashimoto is fucking dead. Like, and I get it because it looked like a death move, just slamming it like it's such a hard fucking slam. And I love the STO. I fucking love that move. Um so to think this is like the first STO in a wrestling match ever is I mean like formally STO, like this is very much the one, you know?
Yeah, it's worthy. And then like they call it by name, of course, because we saw it in the training montage, and it is the crowd knows they were locked into the to the
Yeah.
training stuff because they go nuts. And he is sort of getting owned, but he drills the shit out of him. And as you said, he's dead. He probably didn't need the exclamation point after. I don't know if Hashimoto was getting up.
Yeah, but he goes over, picks up Hashimoto, puts in a tight, full, like grapevine rear naked choke, legs wrapped around the body. Uh Tiger Hattori, I believe, is the referee here. He is just checking over Hashimoto, looking at him for a second. Hashimoto does not tap out, but Tiger Hattori looks at him in his current position, like condition, and makes a call, rings the bell. Naoya Ogawa has won and defeated Shinya Hashimoto, who we didn't even mention,
Oh yeah,
currently reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
for a while.
He is that champ for a bit, and this is in the middle of his run, like this god run that he's been doing. He's already been champion for almost a year at this point. In the middle of the run, takes a loss in the Tokyo Dome in the main event to Naoya Ogawa.
Yeah, and
Like,
you can tell that it is a shocking outcome
yeah, dude, the
for
crowd
the people in
like
attendance.
lose it, but in like a almost incredulous way. Like they do not know how to process what just happened. And it seems like the New Japan roster also does not know how to process what happened because they get fucking pissed.
Kensuke Sasaki is in there before you can fucking like say boo. He is
Yeah,
in the ring. Choshu comes in.
yeah, dude. They got Tiger Hattori like gripped up. They like rip his shirt apart. uh, Hashimoto gets up and he is bleeding, and I do not know when that happened. I actually don't even know what caused it, but he is bleeding from his nose.
And he's
Uh,
looking stunned himself.
yeah, he looks like
So
completely
great.
out of it.
It's like mad and stunned.
Yeah, and fucking Inoki is standing there with his fucking dude Ogawa, and I immediately thought that it was like the that goddamn Toy Story gif Andy dropping Woody on the ground because he's got Buzz. Like Naoya Ogawa is his Buzz Lightyear. He does not care about Shinya Hashimoto anymore.
Yeah. He gets a little Ogawa gets a little trophy. He bows to
Yeah.
everybody like the sweet boy that he is here.
he's I mean he's just here as judo guy. He's big judo guy and he's here and
Wholesome
he
Olympian.
yeah, no love lost. Hashimoto was just lost to an Olympic medalist, this is it's
After
just
he was
how it goes.
on top for most
Yes.
of the fight.
Yeah, it really does feel like Ogawa just got like the one thing he needed, which was the kill move STO, and it just completely changed the match.
And
Um,
that's not he's in the middle of this reign, but like you know, we've talked about it before, like maybe not on the pod, but every wrestler should have strengths and weaknesses, and even like the god Hashimoto has a weakness, which is like overconfidence.
yeah,
He gets a little too, and that kind of feels like what gets him. He's got the guillotine on or whatever. Maybe he should have gone for the DDT or something, but he just, I mean, he's in there with a insane judoka who only needs a split second to turn that around, and he does, and he wins the match.
yeah,
And
no,
crazy great first performance from Ogawa here. Like, even if we didn't have all the madness to come with this, like we would have talked about this on the pod at some point because it's just a great classical different style fight. Feels huge, hot crowd.
yeah, no. I mean, this is a fantastic different style fight. You separate this from everything else we're going to talk about. It's separated from the entire story of where this goes because it goes in a very different direction as the years go on. Um, and you just look at this as it is. This is a fantastic different style fight. The establishment of these two guys as judoka and wrestler is incredibly well done. The way this whole match is structured is perfect. Like, of course, the judoka has the like super kill move that he's been training, and we saw him training it. He has the super kill move that can completely nullify God Shinya Hashimoto. It's such a great story, and I mean, I love this match. I think that this match, if you just look at it as a different style fight between the top wrestler in the company and the top judoka in the country, like this is fantastic. Um, and this is not the end of it for them, though. Uh, just as we can say that it's important to look at this on its own, to really get a feel of like how great of a match it is. It's also really important to look at this as the start of something because this is the start of the rivalry that will define New Japan for the next 3 years. Um, and the next step in that rivalry is only a month later when these two guys face off one more time, and this time it is for the IWGP Heavyweight title.
Oh my god. So we just somehow like ramp up the spectacle.
Yeah.
And also in a giant building. This is in the
Yeah.
Osaka Dome, I think.
This is in the Osaka Dome. We forgot to mention the crowd for the last one. The crowd for the last one was, of course, supposedly 60,500. Um, the crowd for this one, meanwhile, is estimated to be 53,000. So pretty comparable in number. And it feels bigger. This one actually feels like a larger arena than the Tokyo Dome. And I think that partially comes down to, I mean, the presentation on this is even better than the last match, in my
Unreal.
opinion.
We get that shot of the crowd, like the camera pulls back.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's crazy. But it this one also starts with some funny training stuff. I think it starts with Ogawa chopping wood while
Yeah.
Sayama watches in bell bottoms.
Yeah.
And not a great display of wood chopping, I have to say, but
No, it's actually pretty disheartening. It's like, I mean, I've kind of some of my appreciation for Ogawa is lost because he is a shitty. He would not be a good lumberjack.
no, not commando like.
No.
There's also a
Uh,
very funny thing where he's like doing a drill with Inoki where he's dodging punches and Inoki's throwing like the slowest punches ever.
Dude, okay, not only is he throwing the slowest punches ever, but two of them do clip Ogawa anyways, which is
Yeah,
like it straight up, I would have burned the footage. That's crazy.
that's the best. That's the best like 3 second clip they could find.
Yeah, I bet in all the other ones he just punched Ogawa in the nose. But yeah, that whole sparring is incredibly funny. And we go over to Hashimoto in the New Japan dojo, and he is practicing his karate chops and his like clinch striking with actual karate fighters. And
This killed me because it cuts to the training and he's just doing the stuff he always does,
yeah,
except for like a couple of like gut forearms maybe, and
yeah.
like a spinning knife hand chop.
Which when I saw the spinning knife hand chop, I was like, "Oh, that's his like anti STO right there."
Yeah,
Like it,
it's
he is landing them on those pads. They sound like death.
and it is a Chekhov's gun situation with that, and like a lot of this stuff from the training, which again is it's just so perfect.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is like a fucking movie. You know, we're doing the whole scene where we show you training and the special moves, and then you get to the fight and you do the special moves, and they're effective. And it's like it's as simple as that. It really like you don't have to do shit that's more complex. I don't even mean a different style. I mean like all wrestling.
Yeah,
You can just do that. Like you can just have a segment where you show a guy training a new move or like new moves and he busts them out and they're effective. Like that's a great way to like set up the crowd
yeah,
so they
that
know
used
what's
to be
coming.
a like a fairly common territory thing. Like
Yeah.
wrestling 2 teaching Magnum TA shit, you know? Like I am working with the master of this move. I think there's one in World Class with Killer Khan and Terry Gordy too, where Killer Khan like teaches Terry Gordy the spike, and
Wow.
it shows
That's
the clips
sick.
of them training it. And you're right though, it's like it's so simple.
But I mean, these guys, the entrances for this match feel like something beyond like anything else I've ever seen. Like Ogawa comes out and he is walking down to the ring. He has dubbed in music this time. They're not making him go out to silence.
And it's
But
so good, dude.
it is. It's so
It's
good.
the perfect mood for this huge fight. It's so good.
And he's coming down to the ring, stern, no smiles. He is here. He is so intense. There's a long camera like shot hold on the fucking. He's got the dogs out. He's got no shoes on. They like hold that there for a bit, but like it. This guy still feels so foreign to wrestling. They're continuing to present him that way, which is pretty much the way he's presented his entire career, and is the right way to present him. Um, he feels like a big deal in a way that it is a big deal that wrestlers are trying to figure out. And Hashimoto is the guy that is tasked with the job of figuring out how to deal with this guy. And Hashimoto comes out and they have the fucking silhouette going and he looks incredible.
Dude, I would put even his shadow has presence.
Yeah, dude, like
Like while he's
it's
walking down the and like so in the first match I wrote this is the longest ramp ever, and then for this one I wrote I lied this is the longest ramp ever.
yeah.
And in the first match I was like this is the greatest lighting ever, and I'm like no I lied this is the greatest lighting ever.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking superhero,
Yeah. I mean,
samurai superhero.
I said earlier that I wanted to GIF like the training sessions of the judo. I actively started GIFing this before I was like, no, I would get obliterated. I can't. Like I was like, I had the tab open to send it and everything. I was like, this is like the best entrance I've ever seen. Um, there are like a billion people in the Osaka Dome and they are all losing their minds.
And
Um,
he doesn't have the robe and all that stuff this time, which I
yeah,
thought
no,
was interesting. He's just straight in his gear. He's like ready to go.
yeah, no, he looks. I mean, he has this look for a bit, but this is like the most that he has looked like one of those old drawings of like a samurai. Like he looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's like a wood carving.
Yeah, he is like a
He's elemental.
yeah. It's like God, he looks fantastic, and he everything about this is fantastic. And I wrote down in my notes, I love New Japan. Like
Oh,
this
that's
is
what I was feeling
Togon.
when I watched it, man.
Yeah.
Bring it back. I will say I will never, no matter how many times I've seen it, and it's got to be in the hundreds at least at this point. I will never get over the ring announcer being dressed like the Nutcracker. These
Yeah.
fucking big matches because we get this crazy entrance and then it cuts back to the ring and this dweeb is in there like
They got they got Karo Tanaka dressed like he's gonna be the conductor for like the SpongeBob band.
yeah.
But
Oh, that's when
this
we get that incredible crowd shot though, like you said. It's like
yeah.
I don't know how they did it really.
No, no, I don't. I actually don't get it. I don't get how they do a lot of stuff here, but this
yeah.
especially just immaculate, immaculate work from everyone at Team New Japan Production. I hope they were paid handsomely. They created like the coolest shots ever. Like
Yeah, no
that's
wonder they're so protective of their
yeah, dude.
because they're out there right now too, like even more than normal.
Mhm.
They're blasting people.
Yeah. Um, but almost immediately in this match, which I'll just say it right now, I might prefer this one to the first match. I'm not 100% certain, but I think this one, just because of how much they do with like the setup of all these new moves and the like explicit build off of the last match of like
Yeah,
this is the next level of like this is what happened. Literally, the finish of this match is let's take the finish of the last match, but let's go a little bit further,
that's
and I love
exactly
it.
it. Yeah,
I love it.
it's so good. And it's like it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Hashimoto and like the way these things are laid out.
Yeah, and
It
fucking uh Hashimoto immediately, like start of the match, is already using the new tactics because he goes crazy with the karate middle punches.
he is so funny when he's like bobbing and weaving
Yeah,
because he has never looked more like Elvis than when he's like
yeah.
he's got a little shake in the shoulders and in the hips. He he is so Elvised out.
Whoa, mom,
And
I'm
he's
Shinya.
and he's feeling him.
He is.
He really feeling himself when it starts, which I don't blame
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I would too if I had just gotten the karate boot camp. Like I'd be in the zone. And he is throwing leg kicks. And I talked before about Ogawa would take these shots and just like roll with them. The shots that Hashimoto is throwing in this match, he is not rolling with them. Ogawa is like very visibly shaken by like every single like leg kick to the point that Hashimoto eventually gets taken down into an armbar. Hashimoto throws like an up kick to get out of it, and Ogawa just runs away again, like out of the ring. Like, has to take a breather and talk with fucking evil coach Sayama for a second.
It kicks him right in the eye
Yeah.
from his back while he's trying to get an armbar. I did Ogawa too. He starts his first offensive move is a leg kick, and that gets a big like oh because he doesn't
Yeah.
really. Which again, very funny in retrospect. He does like very little striking in these first
Mhm.
two matches, like if at all.
I was gonna say, I don't think he even strikes once in the first match. I think he's like literally all grappling that one. This one, he does throw a few, but it's very few and far between. Um, but like the Ogawa like throws in this match especially are not as exciting as the first match, but actually like better. Like I think these throws are cooler than the first one because the first ones are like really dramatic and really huge, and like the throws he should have done for the first match, like really making judo look like this crazy fucking thing. This one, it's like all functional. Like he's like getting these really nifty like leg trips where it's like falling down and using his like leverage to pop Hashimoto over to put him in an armbar. Like that's his entire tactic for this match is pull off these super functional, like straight to the perfect position throws and immediately put Hashimoto in a armbar or a double wrist lock or something to try and break his arm.
Yeah, he's going for that one a lot too. He did in the first match too. But yeah, he's like rolling through with a lot of stuff. He's like using Hashimoto's tights to get him down. Yeah, it is a lot more functional. He's just trying, and that's sort of the thing in the first match where like you see a little bit of like the seams, like he'll get him down and then he doesn't quite know what to do. Like there's a point where he just kind of stands over him and then just kind of like sits down and tries to grab like a hopeless armbar because
Yeah,
he's done
yeah.
like nothing before. But here he's really trying to get him into position for all that stuff. And there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot more like narrow escapes with the ropes.
Yes. Um and
And
but
Hashimoto, he holds his own on the mat. Like
yes,
to
yes.
some degree, like I think that's kind of an underrated part of his game, but he's going for the leg every time Ogawa's going for the arm.
Yeah. Um Hashimoto absolutely does. Like I feel like I meant to say that in the talk about the first one. Hashimoto is not like a slouch on the ground either, which is why this matchup is so interesting because Hashimoto is not at all a bad grappler on the ground. He's a pretty fucking good one. The issue is that Ogawa is Olympic level, and it's like as good as Hashimoto is when they are on the ground, most of the time it is like an Ogawa world. Like he cannot do anything. But especially in this match, he starts to like really show his stuff on the ground. And like not only in terms of like dealing with Ogawa's grappling, but also doing his own. Um that being said, right around this time, he starts throwing some Kesagiri chops that I noted down are ridiculous because he is throwing them so fucking hard. Like, it's like a guillotine, like trying to chop off Ogawa's head with him. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's from the training, dude.
Yeah, it is. Um, Ogawa's starting very, very, very tiny bit, but there's like a moment here where he kind of gets like a trip, but it's kind of like a shitty little trip, and he's holding on to a hold a little bit longer, and it's like he's starting to bleed out that dickhead that he's got in him. Like
Yeah,
it's
and when he
starting to
gets
come
that
out a little
trip,
bit.
he tries to go for a kill. He tries a couple of different things. He tries to get the legs around Hashimoto's neck,
Yeah,
and he tries to get the arm again, and Hash has to roll out again.
yeah, he does. And fucking Fujinami is there, and Fujinami is so weird in this because I really could not tell what side he's on. I think he's with Ogawa maybe, but he's also not like anti Hashimoto, and we will talk about that in more uh not on screen details in like probably like 15 minutes, but like um but you know these guys go back in, they start fighting again, and almost immediately after getting back in there's a little bit of a skirmish, and Hashimoto spins around, does that rolling chop that he was practicing in the footage, and like clips Ogawa in the face, and it looks horrific.
Sounds pretty rough too.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I wrote in my notes Jesus Christ like 3 times because that shit was so nasty. And he puts in a
God,
heel hook and he starts trying to
oh,
rip
he
his leg off.
does. I hit the Leo point too. I was like,
Yeah,
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 get this spinning chop. But Ogawa gets the ropes, and then they stand up again, and then Hash gets that same sort of guillotine headlock thing, and he's trying to go for the DDT. And as you said, the struggle is so good, man. It's so good.
dude, and it's like multi-layered struggle because not only are they fighting over the DDT, but as they're fighting the DDT, Ogawa like gets his head out and he gets himself in position for the STO, and Hashimoto blocks it and goes right back into the headlock. And like there's this little struggle, and the crowd is like going to a fever pitch because they know exactly what Ogawa is trying to do. They saw the last match, they know how that ended. So they see that Ogawa is trying to do the exact same thing. Hashimoto is trying for the life of him to get him in a DDT position. And they fight a fight. And then Ogawa like gets himself out of it, and just by sheer force of will, STO crushes him again. And he goes to pick him up, and he puts him in the sleeper, and the crowd is losing it. And Hashimoto gets the ropes.
And when he gets the crowd's losing it, the announcer's losing it too because he goes woo like one of our countrymen.
Yeah.
I've never heard a Japanese person make that sound.
Dude. I mean, I get it, dude. I made the same sound, brother, dude. I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And Ogawa doesn't break the fucking sleeper. He is like holding it. And Tiger Tori's telling him, dude, you gotta let go. What the fuck? um
If only he
uh,
knew.
if only he knew. uh Ogawa eventually does break it, and he like walks around a little bit. Like you can see like the gears turning, like trying to figure out, okay, I hit the SCO in the choke and it didn't win this time. So what am I supposed to do? Um and he gets a little too close, and Hashimoto hits this leg kick from the ground and puts Ogawa down.
Kicks the
Hits that.
shit out of his kneecap.
Oh, dude, like horrific fucking kick to the kneecap, like break the leg in half kind of shit. Um and Ogawa, rocked. Hashimoto hits a head kick and goes directly in, lands a fucking punt kick to the dome, and Ogawa goes limp, like completely out.
And again,
And,
like the last one, the head kick probably would have done it.
yeah,
Because this, as we've talked about before, like in a different style fight, like this is basically the finish. I'm gonna lay this fucker in. It
yeah,
is. I've seen a lot of Hashimoto face kicks. Shout
yes.
out Choshu, who we'll talk about
Yeah,
later. But
yeah,
god damn, he smokes him in the head.
yeah, no, just kills him. And that's just not enough for him. He just kills him again after that with the fucking like most horrific, disgusting. It is. I mean, it is a scary, scary shot that he lands on him. Like
They had to wheel him back on a stretcher, dude.
they did. They
Urkawa goes
did.
all the way to the back on a stretcher, and Inoki has like his facial expression is the same, but you know the magic of Inoki somehow he's conveying sadness and disgust at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Um.
you know the story is over, the arc is over, everything ends here, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. 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 Fucking Sama threw in the towel. Judo is defeated. Hashimoto is the champion, and we win. We'll see you next week. But
If it does end here, though, these are two fantastic matches, and they would
yeah.
be just like a fun little footnote in the different style fight section of the Hashimoto Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And they he does because he doesn't get to show much later. Spoiler, but I think he shows a lot here. He's like the heavy favorite who loses in the first, and he's kind of an underdog in the second, and he's like equally adept at both of those things.
Yeah, it is fantastic work from Hashimoto. Once again, fantastic work from Ogawa. Um,
Yeah,
and I do think it's interesting to think about, like, what if this was the end of Ogawa's wrestling career and he just immediately went into the MMA and that's it? Like, this would be such a cool little jump in, like Don Nakai and Nielsen kind of thing, where the career
yeah,
is so short, but like everything he does rules. And we would be talking. We would probably do a whole episode on Ogawa as an individual character for this pod,
yeah, because he had a
and we
few
talk about
other
how sick he
different
is.
style fights too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But this is not the end of Ogawa. This is not the end of these two guys fighting together. Um, this is not the end. This is really just the beginning of what comes. So over the next year, Ogawa has a lot of different style fights, and by a lot I mean like a handful. He doesn't wrestle a ton compared to. He's not doing tours. He shows up for like the big shows and has a different style fight. He has a match with Muda, which is pretty awesome. He has a match with Yamazaki. He has multiple matches with Don Fry. Um, but
the Tokon again,
he's
man. I can't contain it.
no, no.
God,
but he is doing all this stuff, and then he goes away for a little bit. But the way he goes away, and this is where we're gonna dip into the world beyond the ring.
And I have
Um,
waited all week for this
yeah,
with you, loyal listeners.
yeah. Um, so I don't know if we fully know what the start was for Ogawa when it came to like his mindset here. Um, Ogawa's last match for a bit is the match in the Tokyo Dome as part of the tournament to decide who will be Antonio Inoki's last opponent ever. Um, and after that, there is some level of discussion between Ogawa and Inoki. Again, Inoki is this whole time been Ogawa's coach alongside Sayama, and they're doing all this stuff in UFO, and they're starting to like amass an army within UFO of like these like-minded guys who are all kind of shifty or willing to do some pretty bad shit.
Terrorists.
Pretty much. Just to name a few names of guys that are getting involved in the UFO backstage stuff. Tiger Mask 4, who you do not think of as one of these kinds of guys, but he is
I do.
Sayama's prized protege, and also you do if you know enough about him. But like, he's Sayama's prized protege at this point. Um, Gerard Gordeau is a guy that is hanging out a lot in the UFO dojo and is working as a coach there. And if you know him, uh, you know. And if you don't know him, he is one of the scummiest martial artists to ever have fought. Like just straight up one of the biggest pieces of shit in the cage, and also from what I've heard out of the cage, he is a psychopath and also probably a Nazi. A lot of stuff going on with him, but he is fully in the UFO zone. Koichiro Kimura, who has gotten in through Sayama because they have their links from a few different things. He is also there helping coach people and fighting and stuff.
Who
Um,
we've like jokingly mentioned before, but is truly one of the most hateful wrestlers to
yeah,
ever do
like
it.
genuine psychopath in the ring. Outside of the ring, I've heard mixed things. A lot of people love him. Fucking Mikami and a lot of the DDT guys love him. He's basically the reason DDT exists.
Well, Nakama's psychotic in a different
Yeah,
way.
in a completely different way. um, but also I've heard some stuff about him, and I know his reputation, and he's involved in enough incidents that have happened throughout wrestling that he's got a reputation. To the point that he like is basically like I mentioned it in passing, but he kind of was the founder of DDT in terms of like running the company. It's never talked about though because formally they chose not to say he was the founder. This was, I think, a Kimura decision. He said, "Do not add me on the list of founders with like it was like Mikami, Sanshiro Takagi, and Nosawa, who were like the public founders." And he's like, "I'm not going to be with you three because it would be bad for the company's reputation if people knew how much I was involved backstage." Like that was the kind of shit that Kimura had. And he is in
And
the
he tries
UFO
to
crew.
commit a couple of attempted murders on the first DDT main event.
Yeah, he does. He really does. But this is the kind of like group that is being cultivated in UFO. And at some point, Inoki has a conversation with Ogawa, and in the conversation tells him that this is no longer going to be wrestling. That is apparently something that he just told him outright, that we are moving in a new direction with this, and you need to follow everything I say. Because what Inoki is about to do is he is about to attempt to destroy his own company in a way because he has a bold new idea of what he wants to do. And to be clear, I love a lot of the stuff that comes out of this. I have no interest in coming to you and doing Bushi Road style revisionism and pretending that all of the stuff didn't make any money and that it all sucked. That's not true. But what I will say is that almost objectively, what Inoki was planning to do was fucking crazy, and I don't even know how he could have thought of it.
The Inoki
Um,
mind is so fascinating. You said earlier that some people love it and some people hate it, and I'm like, can you do both?
Yeah, yeah. It's I think we can play Shades of Grey here because
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot
love
to
the
love.
spectacle of it.
Yeah,
This is incredible, but like, come on, bro.
yeah. Um, so we see in the footage in the footage for the third match, there's this whole incident where Seiji Sakaguchi is having a meeting, and the whole crux of this meeting is that Seiji Sakaguchi was already going to be having a talk about some stuff at the Budokan, uh, and Ogawa was going to become a topic because it becomes like public knowledge that Ogawa wants to change his New Japan contract. So Ogawa comes into the room and he makes a demand. He says, I do not want to be a New Japan wrestler anymore. Because he's still technically under the contract of like a like special attraction kind of worker. But he wants his contract to change to where he only works one New Japan match a year. Um, and he goes to Sakaguchi and they kind of disagree. And Sakaguchi tells him, we're not doing this here. This is like hours before a big show because they're in the
And
fucking Budokan.
it's so funny
Um,
when it starts, like the photographers like pushing each other through the door to get to the
yeah,
into the meeting.
yeah. Because I think I read that like someone leaked the photographers because they were already going to try and be there to like see what the announcement was, but someone leaked to them that Ogawa was going to show up and that it something big was going to happen because like before it actually does, you can see like basically all the photographers getting their cameras ready.
And
Um,
yeah,
but
and
Sakaguchi,
I love to have that context, but I had none of that,
yeah,
and it was so funny what happened next. I was like,
yeah.
"What the fuck?"
Yeah, Sakaguchi says, I'm not doing this. We're not doing this right now. Come talk to me at the office in like a week. He goes to push Ogawa out the door because he is over Ogawa's complaining. He's like, just leave for now. And Ogawa, like, turns around and now Seiji Sakaguchi is a former, like, top level judoka.
And
He's not a weak guy. He's a
and
big
bigger
fucker
than
too.
Ogawa too.
Bigger
Yeah,
than
he's
Ogawa.
huge.
But he is also
An old man.
he's also about to hit 60. Like, he is an old fuck.
He's in all these in the suit. He's an
Yeah,
executive.
yes. Um, but Ogawa turns around from the pushing and punches him in the face. Like, throws a closed fist at Sakaguchi. Uh, Sakaguchi goes tumbling backwards, falls over, and Ogawa just like stands over him, and you can kind of see like the whole room kind of change a little bit because now the photographers are kind of like trying to create like space. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of yelling, and that's the that's that. But the thing with that is that that was originally a planned angle that they were going to disagree. And I think like there's a liaison between Inoki and Sakaguchi now, because Sakaguchi is genuinely the president of New Japan, like actually the president. Inoki
And
is like,
Noki's like, "Hey, let's blow this up."
yeah, Inoki is like doing the UFO stuff and has become like a consultant or something for New Japan. He's still in a position of power. Everybody will do what he wants because he is like the founder. It
I'd
doesn't
do
matter what position he
anything you told
has.
me to do, man.
Yeah.
Kidding?
Um, but Sakaguchi is the like the president of New Japan here. And there's like a liaison between Inoki and Sakaguchi because they're not actually. I don't believe they're even talking at this point because of the disagreements they've had. The liaison goes to Sakaguchi and tells him, "Hey, we're gonna do this angle. We're gonna do this whole thing with Ogawa. We want you to like slap him, and then he'll like hit you." And Sakaguchi says no. He says, I'm not doing this angle. I don't like doing these kinds of angles. I've never liked doing these kinds of angles. Inoki's not in charge here anymore. I can say no to this. We're not doing this angle. Like, we'll figure out another way. If you want Ogawa to be a one match a year guy, figure out another way to do it because we're not doing this kind of bullshit. That's what Sakaguchi says. What Inoki tells Ogawa is that Sakaguchi has agreed to the angle. So when this happens, Sakaguchi has an
Preach,
understanding of
yes.
something like something else is supposed to happen here. I think they're supposed to disagree and then it turns into like a media thing, but there's no like physical contact. I think that's what they told Sakaguchi. Um, Ogawa has been told you have the okay to hit him. So he does. He hits him, and when Sakaguchi falls down, that is kind of the marking point. I think Sakaguchi said in an interview that like if I had just been hit, that would have been one thing. But when he knocked me down and they took a bunch of photos of me on the ground, like it stopped being like I couldn't even find a way to work this as an angle because I was fucking furious.
And
But
it's so funny because Ogawa just jumps in his car and like flees the scene.
yeah, just gets in
They
the car
film
and
him just
bolts.
driving away. Yeah.
And like the end result is reached. They do agree to make him like a one match a year guy for a bit, and he kind of disconnects from New Japan to become fully UFO. Sakaguchi, however, says to the media that he is fucking over this UFO shit and he will like cut all ties with it if needed, which is not really a work. He's actually really pissed off and is
Yeah.
over it. He's like really not a fan. I don't know what happened to make him even agree to like anything else they do. Evidently, it might have taken a while because that happens in June of 98, and the next match we're talking about is 7 months later. So maybe it took a little bit of time before he agreed to have anything to do with the UFO guys, but they do come back around on it. Um, and that leads into this match where 6 months after that press conference and almost 2 years after the 97 matches, Naoya Ogawa is back in New Japan. This is the Tokyo Dome, January 4th. And I mean,
As
this
big as it
is
gets.
as big as it gets. I think this is actually the biggest Tokyo Dome crowd for New Japan ever, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Uh, because this is like 63,000 people, I think. Um, it is. I mean, you. This is like the biggest fucking thing ever. And actually, no, I think I'm even wrong. I don't even think this is the biggest. This is like the second biggest because I think the biggest is actually a match we're going to talk about next week. That one is like maybe like 1,000 more people. Um, but this one is almost 63,000 people. It is not the main event this time. The main event is Keiji Muto versus Scott Norton, which I have not seen in a while, but I actually remember that being kind of fun. Um, and the match before that is Tenkozy against uh, Tenkoshi, Tenryu, and Koshinaka, and that match is really sick.
Yep.
um, but this is the semi main event of this New Japan Wrestling World in Tokyo Dome 1999. Shinya Hashimoto versus Naoya Ogawa, and this is a very, very different Naoya Ogawa.
He's like the gi is gone. He's in like full MMA fighter dickhead mode. He's like luxury brand Murakami Senior.
Yes, yes. You watch this match and you realize that this is how Murakami became a thing. Not only because of what happens involving Murakami himself, but you know,
Who didn't get mentioned in the list of fucked fuckers, but
no, he's
everybody
there
knows.
too. And he is there too, and he's being groomed to be the second Ogawa once they need to bring him in as like when Ogawa needs another one of himself to start getting involved. That's when they're gonna bring Murakami in. And Murakami gets his first taste here. He gets a mouthful actually. um, but fucking Ogawa is here. He's got the gloves on. He has the fucking attitude.
He's talking shit.
Uh,
He talks shit during Hashimoto's entrance.
he talks shit during Hashimoto's entrance. He is flanked by the most fucked up group of guys ever. He's got Murakami, Fourth Tiger Mask, and Gerard Gordeau surrounding him as he goes to the ring. Sayama is also there, like at ringside waiting. Um, Hashimoto, meanwhile, comes out and like half of the New Japan locker room is like outside as well. They are ready for the match. Um, and Hashimoto again, big aura, big time fucking wrestler. And as you said, Ogawa talks shit in the middle of the entrance, and you can like see in Hashimoto's face that he's almost like taken aback by this because I don't think that was planned either. I think Inoki told Ogawa to do that, but he had not Like they didn't tell Hashimoto ahead of time,
The
which
thing it's so interesting
yeah,
to watch all this, like, forensically and try because he's not it's not like Hashimoto's not coming out with, like, a boo-boo face, not that I think he would, but, like,
no.
this is a pretty normal Hashimoto dome entrance, and then that's
Yeah.
the first spanner in the works, sort of.
Yeah, no. This is a theme for the entire match is that Hashimoto is about to encounter things that he has not been told about ahead of time. Um and this is where I have to put like big air quotes on match because for anyone that does not know the reputation of this, this is like a shoot. Hashimoto doesn't realize that until about halfway in, but I honestly, watching this back, I was like, I don't even know how to like compare this to other different style fights because it is one, but it's not because it's an actual like it's a real fight. This isn't like a just a really well work or like a really realistic like shooty kind of thing. No, this is just Shinya Hashimoto facing a guy who has been told by Inoki to have a real fight.
Facing a, like, 6'4" world-class judoka who has had 2 years of MMA training.
Yeah, he's been training in Muay Thai with fucking all these fucking dudes. He's been learning striking from Gerard Gordeau. He's been training with Kimura and Sayama and like all these fuckers. And now he is here and he is throwing punches that are real and
Oh,
kicks that are real. And he is taking all of Hashimoto's shots and not registering them.
he no-sells a leg kick 2 seconds in, and it's like, "Oh, fuck." Like, he
Yeah,
doesn't even react. His face
no.
doesn't even change. And by that point, he's already landed 2 or 3, like, outrageous punches.
Yeah, yeah, he is throwing like straight on hooks and straights and uppercuts. And you can see as Hashimoto is starting to eat them, like Hashimoto gets him against the ropes and he holds him there for a little bit. And
Dude,
you can like
there's,
tell.
like, a whole stretch of, I would say rope breaks, but they're, like, non-breaks
Yeah.
where he's
'Cause-
just on him.
yeah, because he's not breaking. Like Tiger Hattori's telling him to break, and Hashimoto's like, no, dude, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Poor Tiger Hattori eats a couple of shots from Hashimoto too. I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
you need him, bro.
I would love to
Don't kill
know.
him."
I'd love to know if Tiger Hattori knew what was going on because I feel like he probably didn't. I feel like he was probably just as much in the dark as everyone else. But like, what if this was an Earl Hebner situation? What if he knew the fix was in and just like went out there anyways?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the whole because unless I don't wanna say unless Hashimoto is, like, the greatest wrestler ever, which he could make a case for, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
But, like, the stuff after feels booked, but it also could be real. I don't like, this is just so because you like, if you go read, like, the Wikipedia about this, it's, like, presented as a full 100% shoot, and then you'll read
yes,
other stuff from people who are more hip to what's going on with Inoki and stuff who are like, "Yeah, it was a shoot, but, like, only one person knew about it," and it's just very fascinating.
yes, yeah. Um, there's one of the shots when Hashimoto has him against the ropes, and he's like basically put himself in like pile driver position, just head between the legs, but like holding him against the ropes that way. And Ogawa is throwing like point of the elbow to the back. It looks
To the
so
spine, yeah, just straight point of the elbow to the spine, and Hashimoto's, like, bleeding from the mouth
yeah.
and nose,
Hashimoto is like streaming blood from like
bright
three different
red.
spots on his face. There's like a tight shot of all the blood dripping down. It is so gross. And I think that's whenever, like right after that, he gets taken to the ground and Ogawa just gets on top of him and just starts throwing like full mount punches to the head.
And hammer fist to the back of his head and, like, oh my god.
Stands up, throws a punt kick and some stomps that are so. I mean, like I guess it was 2000 or it was 99 and we didn't know how dangerous that shit was. So like fucking Ogawa is actually doing that to him, like actually like punt kicking and stomping him in the head as hard as he can. And it is like scary to watch. It's really bad.
Yeah, you're like, "Please stay down, dude," and, like, before that, he tries to get, like, a armbar and he tries to get a Kimura, and both of them, like, if he had locked
Yes.
those in, would have straight up broken his arm.
I think Ogawa in those moments had a moment of thought of like, I shouldn't do this, because he
Yeah, he
had,
lets go both times. He just doesn't consummate the hold because he could have.
yeah, the double wrist lock especially. He gets that full like full connection, has like the perfect position where if he bends it like a little bit more, he snaps his arm in half, and he like immediately like lets go and sits on Hashimoto for a second. I think that was him realizing like, I'm beating on him, but I could legitimately end his career forever, and I probably shouldn't do that. Which talks to something else, because Hashimoto and Ogawa eventually
Yeah,
become incredibly close friends.
that's so curious too. And like Gordeau works 0-1.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Which, so this is going to be like really crazy. I feel like you're going to like, I feel like you're going to get it. But for some people, they might hear this and think that it is batshit. Hashimoto does not blame like anyone in this situation for what was happening except for Inoki. And
yeah,
that includes Ogawa, who was
yeah,
the one beating him half to death. Because Inoki is such a like monster of charisma and manipulation that he did so much shit where he told people to do things and they just did it. And like in hindsight, they're like, I shouldn't have done that. Like Ogawa, I think, has been like, I really should not have done the things Inoki told me to do.
yeah.
But
And Hashimoto knows that as well as anybody.
yes. Yeah, no, he has been one of the people that has been told by Inoki to do shit that in hindsight he was like, I probably shouldn't have done. Like, this is just what Inoki was like. Inoki was that's just Inoki. Like he has that power over people, both as their employer and as like this godlike figure in the culture. Um so Ogawa doing this within like a year, Hashimoto is willing to say that it's water under the bridge. He's willing to move on from this. Because Ogawa and him end up becoming good friends, and Ogawa actually joins Hashimoto when everything goes to shit and there's a split between like Hashimoto and Inoki. Ogawa goes to Hashimoto instead of staying with Inoki because he's more friends with Hashimoto than like an underling to Inoki anymore. Um, and it sounds fucking crazy because like, how do you convince a guy to do this? But he did. He really just convinced everyone in UFO, convinced Ogawa especially, that this is the right thing to do and that Inoki has a vision and you have to cooperate him for his vision to succeed. And everybody was like, if Inoki has a vision, you got to do it. So Ogawa legitimately beats Hashimoto like half to death, and they call the match and just throw it out.
And even like we didn't even talk about like in between when they do break or when they're like away from the ropes, Ogawa is just punching the shit out of him, kicking the shit out of the back of his head. Like he has no reprieve
No,
at any
not at
point.
all. No, and fucking, he's also talking shit like the whole time.
And if you thought that the fucking crowd was stunned after the first match, I
Yeah,
mean, this is this uh, it's a canary in the coal mine situation here because it goes silent.
yeah. Uh,
Takaiwa grabs a chair.
yeah. So that's
It's
the end of the
it's
match. But
surreal.
what happens next is maybe even crazier because there's this whole post match that I was like glued to the screen watching the whole thing. Um, Ogawa doesn't. I want to also note Ogawa does a taunt where he like runs around the ring as an airplane.
Little airplane.
That becomes like a cultural phenomenon in Japan. Like that is like a thing that people like. That has been on variety shows. That was very famously. I think the most famous example that people know of is Shinya Aoki breaking that dude's arm in half and then doing the Ogawa airplane.
Fitting.
Like yeah, no, Shinya Aoki kind of the second Ogawa for real in a way. Um, but like this is such like he does that little taunt, he's still talking shit, and that's when like the entire New Japan roster starts to get in the ring
What the
because
fuck, buddy?
they're starting to realize what actually just happened. And now this is where we get back to the reality of the situation as well, because Sayama is directing traffic for the UFO guys. He is telling Gordeau and Tiger Mask to stand in front of Ogawa and block him. Gordeau has basically been brought in here as a bodyguard. Like that was what he was told to do from the beginning because they knew shit would go down. So like we need you there because everybody kind of knows that you're a pretty dangerous guy. So they'll be a little bit more apprehensive to do anything if you're in between them. Um, but the agreement that this is what Sama said like recently, like a year ago in an interview, in fact. Um, the agreed upon thing was that when all of this goes down, Inoki was going to come into the ring and like direct traffic and keep anything from happening. It was going to be part of his angle. Inoki is sitting in the crowd wearing the mask of Sanshiro Azuma, who's like a manga character from like a wrestling manga. He's wearing a full mask so people cannot see it as him. He is not coming to the ring. He has chosen in this moment to not come to the ring. He wants to see how the UFO guys handle the situation. um, which actually ends up causing problems between him and Sayama, and is kind of why Sayama eventually leaves the UFO like agreement because of because Sayama feels like he's in with the Inoki vision, and it's kind of a realization for him that I'm actually just like another pawn in this. Like I'm just another piece of the puzzle for Inoki. I'm not actually working alongside him. I'm just working for him. And knowing Sayama, you can probably tell how he feels about that. So he eventually kind of falls out not too long after this. I want to say like he falls out before UFO dies. I can say that much. Which UFO does not have a long shelf life after all this happens. But he's trying to direct traffic, and there's a couple instances of Tiger Mask and Gordeau and Murakami especially who are like they're getting in the face of the wrestlers. Otani gets in the face of some people. Takaiwa gets in the face of some people. Kazuo Yamazaki really wants Ogawa to get down because Ogawa's like sitting on the top rope for a little bit, and Yamazaki wants him to get down
Talking shit.
so bad.
Still
He is like
talking shit.
he is begging Ogawa to get down and stop talking shit because he wants to like actually fight Ogawa. And like most of the people in the ring want to fight Ogawa. And a lot of them are starting to want to fight Murakami. I
Natural reaction.
I don't know who it is that like starts it, but there is like a little brawl between Murakami and three people, and that is what leads to, as Aubie said, Takaiwa coming into the ring with a steel chair, fully intent on braining Murakami with it. And I think one of the wrestlers stops him because he's like, hey, if you do this, you might actually kill him. Don't do that.
I just assumed it was Murakami. In my notes, I wrote, "Oh look, Murakami's setting shit off."
Yeah. Murakami, there's like, and they actually get into a little skirmish, and Murakami's like brawling with three people, and they're throwing punches and shit. Gordeau starts punching some people. Tiger Mask 4 starts a little thing. That's when Choshu comes out, and he also wants to start something with Ogawa because Choshu at this
Dude,
point, this is
we needed the glass break here.
yeah, dude, the crowd goes
They come,
nuts.
they come right back to life. They're like, okay, Choshu's here.
Yeah. Choshu, I think, is like the booker here, maybe. He's like New Japan's booker, I think. Um, the president at this time is Fujinami. Seiji Sakaguchi is like either not in the position or fully gone from the company because of everything that has happened.
Yeah.
I think this is like so he leaves and Fujinami takes over. Which I think is also why Fujinami's no longer involved, because he got involved in the second match, but I think he's not involved anymore, partially because he's the president. He's trying to keep like a hands off from this because he has to deal with everything backstage. Um, but Choshu comes out and he starts wanting to confront Ogawa, and there's a little bit of exchange between them, and he actually does hit Ogawa like
This
straight
is
up.
the part where I was like, okay, is like how much of this is a shoot and how much is a work? Because that seems Choshu comes out to like confront Ogawa. It just seems, but I mean, it's New Japan. It's
It
Japan.
is. It is, and I do genuinely think that was just a shoot because I don't think he was meant to come out, but he comes out and the fans like see him and naturally react. But
Yeah.
he's trying to figure out what's going on. Manabu Nakanishi also wants to kill Ogawa. He is like shooting lasers out of his eyes towards him. And I think this is whenever Gordeau and Ogawa leave for the first time.
Yeah, did
And
they just, like, reappear back in the ring? I
yes,
was like, "What
they
the
do.
fuck?"
But while they do that, Murakami and Tiger Mask are also trying to leave. And I think Michio Shiohara is the one that throws a punch at Tiger Mask. And Tiger Mask throws a punch at him. That sets off a full-scale fight between Tiger Mask and Murakami against like 13 people. They like jump Tiger Mask, they rip his mask off in the fight, which is kind of, that was when I like really like said, I'm like, oh shit, they are actually just trying to kill him right now, because they like don't care about the gimmick, don't care about nothing. Rip his mask off, pull him to the ground. Murakami gets mobbed by a few people. I think Takai was there, a few people, but notably Takashi Iizuka is in the mob going after Murakami.
Yeah.
You can see them throwing punches at Murakami's face, like full on, and they get him to the ground. And it's only shown on the screen for a second because that's when they cut back to the ring where Ogawa's back. But you can see Iizuka throw like a stomp at the ground at Murakami. So I don't even think we have footage of this. I think no cameras that recorded it. They didn't use the footage for obvious reasons later on.
But
But
outside of being awesome, it is important.
yeah, Izuka, they have Murakami on the ground, and the guys that are on him are just punching him and like beating him half to death. And Izuka is standing over him, stomping on his head as hard as he can, like into the ground. This puts Murakami in a coma, like for real. They have to haul him out of the ring, take him to a hospital. He's in a coma for a little bit. He wakes up. He is in the hospital for a month. He has like multiple bones on his face broken. Like I think someone said that like his face had like no like defining like bone structure after what happened because of like what Izuka did to him stomping on his head. Um like legitimately like almost killed Murakami doing that. And Tiger Mask also gets fucked up. I don't think he goes to the hospital, but he legitimately gets fucked up from that too. Gordeau and Ogawa mostly get out of it unscathed, outside of Ogawa getting like the one punch, because they kind of knew the right moment to bow out when they knew things were about to get like so bad it actually turned into something. And Tiger Mask and Murakami just kind of didn't and kept pushing it, and that's what led to that. But yeah, that is the entire like ending thing. And Inoki never appears. He never shows up, which again, Sama holds a grudge against him for that for a bit because he was supposed to be the one that kept anything from happening. And now Tiger Mask is fucked up and Murakami is in the hospital in a coma. Um and the whole New Japan roster is pissed off because they think Inoki has just like tried to assassinate their top star,
And
which
that
he has.
yeah.
He has.
Yeah. Nakedly.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I don't even know how to talk about this match because it's not a match. It is an actual like unknown sanctioned assassination attempt turned into a full scale brawl in front of 63,000 people. This is the biggest show of the year, and they just had this shit happen. And then they sent out fucking Koshinaka to have a cool tag match.
Go throw some hip attacks
Yeah,
while we scrape Murakami's brains off the concrete.
Jesus Christ, man. But that
And we're not
is
done.
yeah, that's it for this episode in terms of the matches, but we're not done because that's the first half of this. Next week we're gonna have three more matches to talk about from this. Uh and shit is just gonna keep getting crazier. I think this match might be the most it goes into the realm of like reality.
Reality. Yeah.
Well, okay, well we're gonna talk about another match that might be
There's
just
some
as
get
bad.
back.
Yeah, there's some get back. Um, just this shit's crazy. We talked about IGF and said it was Inoki World, and this is Inoki's vision. No, this is Inoki's vision right here. This is Inoki committing to his vision so hard that he almost destroys his own company. Um,
And if we
but it
did get a shot of him, maybe this was when he would have been smiling.
I think so too. I think if you got a shot of inside that fucking manga character mask, you'd see a smiling Inoki. But
Man.
I think uh do we want to answer some questions? Do we want to do like one or two questions before we go
Yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah. We come back down from that.
Yeah, I don't even I yeah, let's end it on a lighter note. Let's go to
Uh,
some questions. We got some good questions still. Keep
yeah.
bringing the questions in. We want to talk about everything that you guys have ever asked us. Um, and I think there's a couple good ones. I can start actually because I have one that I was thinking about when I saw you add it to the document because I think I missed it in where it was posted.
Yeah, I just caught it
But
last week and I was like, oh, I need to add that.
yeah, this is from Biz. It is, does Cadillano have a GWE case? Because I can't figure it out on my own anymore. Biz, that is a great question. Uh, Aubie, actually, I want to hear your answer first because I obviously have my thoughts, but I would love to know what you think about this.
Okay. I will not be voting for him, but I absolutely do think that he has a case. Uh, as not only does he have like a handful of like the coolest matches ever for whatever, whatever reason you want to ascribe to that,
Right, right.
I do think he is like a consistently great wrestler, and I really do think that in a we can call it an art form, I guess. I'm nerdy enough to call it an art form.
Yeah,
I think that he has stretched the limits of that in ways that like almost no one else has done.
yeah,
And so I'm not going to vote for him, but I absolutely think he has a case, and I think he has a case if you wanted to put him in the top half of your list, that you could put him in the top half of your list.
right. So, I have him at number 43,
Yes.
currently. Um, Part of that, I will say, being entirely transparent, I've been a fan of this fucking guy, Cadillano, for like years of my life. I was becoming a fan of him before I even left for college. Like I was already starting to become a fan because I think it's around like 11th grade when I found out what Battle Arts was. And I found out who Yano was and I started watching his shit and I was like, this guy's awesome. And I think it was like beginning of pandemic when I really started to dig into his like more weird shit. Like whenever he gets into Wallaby and the no ring stuff. I think that Aubie is entirely correct. Uh, your call about him being like consistently great, I agree with. I will be open and honest that I think there are points in his career where he is not. I think especially the mid 2010s, there are some performances that are not good. But I will say with that period, which I think is why I hold Cadiano in a different way I hold a lot of other wrestlers, besides the nostalgia for me being obsessed with him for years of my life. Um, Even during the periods where he was not consistently great, which I would say probably ranges from like 2012 to 2016.
The Cadiano lost weekend.
Yeah. Um, Cadillano in that period of time is not consistently great because there are like two versions of him you'll get. You'll get the version where he is just here for the booking and he's doing his stuff, but he very clearly is not interested. And then you get the version of him where he is completely interested and he's doing shit like the match against Mitsuru or the match against fucking like most of his Wallaby matches, which are weird and like not wacky, but just not normal most of the time. They do wrestling in a way that just does not fit right with a lot of other wrestling. But he is doing like some of the most compelling shit I have ever seen. Um, there are some Cadiano matches that are more public than others, and this one actually isn't even like fully out there. But I will say, if you know a guy that knows a guy, and you can get your hands on the Kotaro Nasu match from like 20, oh God, I want to say fucking 2013. same year, not the same year, year before the Mitsuru match. Um, that match is unreal. It is like 50 minutes and it's really good grappling. And then it turns into like this weird, like strike off where it like just breaks apart into almost like a shoot beat down between the two of them. And it is like I have never seen anything like it. And that's what all of the best Kiriano matches in those periods are like. You get to this period, what we're in right now, like the 2020s, and he's just consistently great because he's a great grappler and he's like cleaned up his act and he's with Tenryu now and he's having awesome fucking matches like the matches with Hideki Suzuki, the Zack Sabre Jr. match, the all the matches with Hikaru Sato.
They had a great year
Like,
last year.
yeah, he had a great year. He had the matches with Ayumu Honda, and Ayumu Honda is like kind of not good, but he
Yeah,
wrestles
yeah,
Yano.
all the whole series is good.
Yeah, dude, he has matches with Yuya Susumu. Yuya Susumu spent 5 years sucking, and all of his matches with Keita are great. Like, he is an unbelievable worker, especially nowadays. He still does a lot of the weird shit. Like, he just had a match with Shota in front of no people, and that match was awesome. And they did so much shit that you will not see anyone else do. Um, but like, I think a lot of people will look at his stuff in the 2010s, and if you can enjoy that stuff, you will probably look at it and go, okay, he has a case. If you don't enjoy that stuff, that is a
Yeah,
case breaker. That will like, and I get it. Like, I have friends, fucking Andy, love him to death. He will never agree with me on Kediano because he thinks that shit is sucks and it is lame. And I get it, and
yeah.
he's right to have that opinion. But I fucking love it. Uh, and then all the stuff before he goes insane is great too. He has the exit tag. He has the match and
Oh
exit with
yeah, one
fucking
of the great
Fugo and
matches.
shit. That's like
Yeah.
one of the best matches ever. Like, I think he definitely has a case, and I'm gonna rank him very highly. There's a solid chance. I would assume I have him the highest if I knew other people probably have him higher, but I think as the guy most obsessed with him, I am the most correct.
Yes.
um I don't think he could be number one. I don't think in any world you can fairly say he is a number one greatest wrestler ever. Uh, but I think that if you really love the guy, like I do, like put him wherever you feel like you should. And if you really do love the guy, you're probably gonna put him on there because he is one of the most magnetic figures in all of this weird sleaze Japanese shit.
Well said. We want to do another, or we want to.
Let's do one more. Let's do one of the more fun ones. One of the
Let's do Lawson's.
I was literally eyeballing that one. I'm like, I hope Aubie says that one.
Lawson says, "Fuck, Mary, kill, Lee Gaksu, Sambo Asako, Kim Hyun Hwan."
Oh,
I think I am fucking Lee Gaksu. I'm going the order he has them. I'm marrying Sambo Asako because he'll put up with a lot, and I'm
yeah.
a pain in the ass. And then I'm killing Kim Hyun Hwan.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
got to put him down.
Yeah. Uh, I actually agree with all of that. I think I'd fuck Lee Yaksu because he's like a hero and he like got the key to the city and shit. And I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. He deserves it. I'd marry Sambo Asako because he endures and he is a man of kindness and love and the people love
true.
him. Um, and I kill Kim Hyun Hwan because he's a psychopath.
Exactly.
Someone has to do it.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope the people enjoyed us looking at one of the most fucked up things to ever happen in wrestling ever. And I
More to
hope
come.
you're hope you're excited for next week when we look at more of the most fucked up shit to happen ever.
I am.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
Well, on that
Oh,
note, send us questions. You can do it Twitter, YouTube, Discord.
yeah.
You can send me a letter in the mail.
I'd love to get a
We want to do
letter.
it. Yeah. And we have more questions that people have sent that we will definitely get to too. So if we haven't answered your question yet, uh, worry not.
Yes, it is coming. It is coming. Do not worry.
Well, on that note, we will go I'm probably gonna go have a beer and stare into space for a while,
Yeah, dude, I'm
ponder,
gonna go.
and
I'm
no
gonna
key.
take. I'm gonna take a nap for 7 years.
Well, we will be back next week with the greatest podcast ever. And
Yes, sir.
all right, goodbye.
Goodbye.